Welcome to Amy's Table. Today I'm talking with Sheila Gray, one of Cincinnati's most trusted journalists. If you've ever wondered how to stay relevant, confident, and true to yourself as the years go by, this conversation is for you. This is Amy's Table. Pull up a seat. Sheila, I'm turning the tables on you today. How does it feel to be the one being asked the questions?
Very uncomfortable. I like to be the one doing the interviewing.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, you've been doing the interviewing for a long time here in Cincinnati. I mean, people think of you as part of the family, a friend, you're a trusted voice. What has that ride been like for you?
27 years this August.
Oh my gosh.
It's a gift. It is a gift. That's the only way I have to describe it. People treat me, like you said, like part of their family. They know me. It's not they think they know me. They know me because if you're on television, if you're not real, that comes through.
Right.
And people don't like that. So what you see is the real Sheila when you see me on television.
Well, you know, I always say to you whenever I've done a segment with you, I'm like, thank you, you're so generous. But I think part of what makes you so generous is you know what we're going to talk about or do or cook or make, which I think is really impressive. A lot of people might just walk on and use the notes, you know what I mean? But I feel like sometimes you know more about it than I do. And you're just so caring to the community. I feel like you bring such a positive sense to all that you do. But I also think you feel that's your responsibility a bit, don't you?
First, thank you, because you could not say anything more kind to
or
me,
true,
you know, in the career that I have chosen. But I do put in the extra work, because if you're coming on with us, I want to highlight you. I want you to look great. It's funny when people are nervous and I say, you know, this is not Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes. We're here to make you look good.
right?
And I really do feel that way. And I do think it's our responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, what most of the things that I do are not hard news investigative journalism. And I have done that in the past. But most of what I do is to highlight people and voices and businesses in our community and lift them up. Mm-hmm. And I do consider that my job.
And you do it so very well. And not just when you're on camera. I mean, you do social media posts giving shout outs to restaurants or shops or interesting people. And it matters. I mean, you are who you are on camera, off camera. And that's a really generous, positive, upbeat woman. And you also are involved in events. So talk about some of the events that you do within the city and beyond.
Well, some of my favorite things to do are to be involved with the Joe Nuxall Miracle League.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that organization. And I've been involved with it since before it was even a thing, since it was just an idea that Joe Nuxall and his son Kim had. And to be with, you know, kids and adults who have special abilities, there is nothing but joy every single minute that you are with them. So I love being involved with that. I've served on the board of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, granting wishes to children with life-threatening illnesses. Wow. You can't do anything more profound than that to help families have some comfort in a hard time. I've been involved with breast cancer causes. I love working with the hospitals, food pantries. I'm doing an event for Go Pantry. Dress for Success is another one that I really love to help. So yeah, I think that's part of our job too. We live in this community and we work in this community, and you can't just report the bad things that happen. You have to get involved in the good things that happen, and you have to be the good if you want to live here. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you were to think back to your early days in journalism and broadcasting, what would you tell that girl now that you've been through so much?
I would tell her not to worry about it so much. Don't worry about what the next thing is going to be or where you have to be or where you have to go. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the people that you're around. Enjoy the learning process. And it will all happen. The universe has a plan for you if you are open to it. And if you put your beliefs in your abilities and in people who believe in you and who are willing to help you. I have had so many people help me and take an interest in me. And looking back on it, I can see it. But when you're younger, you don't see all those things as clearly.
Right.
And there's that fear of what if I fail?
Right. Or I need more, or it has to happen now.
Faster.
Or, yeah.
Yes.
There's something, and I've been tossing it around in my mind more and more every day, and I haven't quite gotten it to a really articulate place yet. But that whole idea of what if you just woke up and decided everything's going to be okay? There's no need for worry. Just imagine if you really took that to heart, how that would radically change your life. Traffic jam? No worries. Bad weather? No worries. Difficult guest? No problem. It's just like it would change everything. And I think that whole allowing, that's my word for the year.
That's great.
Allow.
And I think that as younger people, we want to control everything.
Right.
And I'm a go-getter. I'm a type A personality. That's control. And I have learned that I don't have to control every single thing. There are things that I can let go of.
Right, right. Well, you have been in this business quite some time, as you say, and you've worked with some real amazing sort of Hall of Famers. John Lomax.
I know. I miss him every day.
How did he impact your career or your outlook on broadcasting?
It's funny because I had only run into John a couple of times when I was working at Fox 19, and I knew he was always friendly and, was always out and about in the community. But since we work these morning shifts, you get into this routine of your day, and a lot of times you don't see other people from other stations unless you make it a point. But there were a few times I saw him at public appearances. But when I came to Local 12, I was really nervous because there have been people who have changed television stations in the same market who have not had success, or it hasn't been accepted as you're part of this new team. And I didn't know what the folks at 12 were going to be like about me coming in.
Right.
And we had this double top secret promotional shoot with him and Bob Herzog and John Gum. Before I got to the station, it hadn't been announced. Nobody, and I showed up at the thing, and they're like, "It is you. We thought it was you." And so that was really funny. But John, before I ever set foot in the station, he said, "You're my family now, and you will always be my family. And if anyone ever troubles you or hurts you, you come to me." Like the Godfather. We called him the Godfather, and he really meant that.
Yeah.
He was family to me.
He was a legend too. I mean, just a legend.
And he would just drop these nuggets of wisdom. What I said about you're on TV, people see you. That was John. You have to be who you are or people will see. If somebody would have a bad day, he'd say, nobody died.
Right. Right. There you go. That's right. Keep it all in perspective.
Exactly. He was all about perspective. He was so wise.
So you've covered probably just about every kind of story anyone could ever think of, including some difficult news, but also positive news. But what is something that still makes you wake up in the morning, early in the morning, by the way, and going to bed early at night? Oh, you're good about that. What's something that still makes you get out of bed excited to go do the news?
For one thing, I love morning news because it can be entertaining and it can make people feel good when there are a lot of bad things that we have to tell them. So that's what I love about morning news. It's more variety. It's more personality driven. And when I was early in my career, I was mostly a hard news reporter, and I was a 6 and 11 o'clock anchor. So I didn't have a lot of room for that. And I actually had somebody tell me, I don't see you as a morning news anchor. Somebody told me that when I was looking for morning news jobs, because my daughter was going to be in kindergarten, and I was thinking, I've got to do mornings because I'm not going to miss my child growing up. And
Right.
somebody said, I just don't see you on mornings. And I thought, just wait. I'm going to show you.
And boy, did you show that.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, I think it's a great responsibility because I think there are so many people out there putting out negative messages and, lies. It's so important to have local journalists who care about this community, whose most important priority is telling you the truth. And getting the story and getting all sides of the story so you can make a decision about it. We don't care if you're for or against an issue or a candidate or anything, but we want to tell you everything that we can so that you can make an informed decision. So that's another thing that gets me out of bed too. When other people have retired and left the industry, I just feel it's more important than ever to have people like that in journalism.
Oh, couldn't agree more. You know, when Katie Couric was in town last year at Power to Pursue, what an amazing speaker she was. But she talked about two things. One was engagement through enragement.
Oh,
I thought that was really good. And the other, I'm going to forget the other one now, Sheila. I'll remember it and text you. But basically going where you agree with what's being told versus going to be told the truth. So the fact that you're still feeling that importance of truth in journalism, I think is a huge gift to us in our city.
that's a big one that John and Bob and I used to talk about. People who they only want to hear from others who agree with them and tell
Right.
them what they want to hear. That's not our job. That's not a news outlet's job or a journalist's job. Now, a talk show, sure, that's a talk show's
Right.
job. That's an entertainment program's job. That is not the job of journalism.
Right. Right. I mean, that's huge. And I can tell you feel that all the way through.
I sure do.
Yeah, huge.
I sure do.
Well, you talked about pivoting from a hard news anchor to morning because Katie was going into kindergarten. So you've been around, you know. Now Katie's giving you a grandbaby, two grandbabies.
Two granddaughters,
I'm
yeah.
a grandmommy too. I love it so much. But journalism, television, anything that's on camera has often focused on youth and the young. And so while you look like $1,000,000,
Thank you.
what is it like to navigate a world where it's often focused on much younger people?
And I think it's always been like that. It's, you know, it's that way in Hollywood. It's that way in New York and LA and big markets. For me, there are times when I worry about it, but I take really good care of myself. So I feel that's the only way I can control it is by taking good care of myself and getting enough sleep and, you know, eating good food and exercising. But there is a pressure to feel and look good because you do worry about you know, am I going to get a boss who's subjective and doesn't like my red hair, or doesn't like my laugh or whatever, because it is a subjective business. But I think as I've gotten older, I worry less about it.
Well, you've got an awful lot of experience and objectivity. And I mean, you bring something that the younger group doesn't. Let's just be honest. You know, it's interesting when we talk about AI, and I mean, I'm not going to pretend I can speak intelligently about AI, but one of the things that is being a true phenomenon is that younger people in the workforce are at greater risk of being overcome by AI than the older ones who have more experience to bring. It doesn't mean they're there forever.
Right. That's interesting.
It is very interesting, and it's a legit thing. I did kind of a deep dive on it. But so, you know, at some point there's that too. Do you feel like people are getting more used to seeing women and men that are more mature reporting their news?
I think men who are mature have always been accepted. I think women, there has been like a controlled number. Like if you think of the Connie Chungs and Barbara Walters and Diane Sawyers who were allowed to age on television, that's not everyone, right? There's a select few. But I think in Cincinnati, it's been different because if you look at people like Carol Williams or Norma Rashid, you know, they were allowed, Kid Andrews, Cammie Deer King, they were allowed to call it when they wanted to call it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like here, the viewers are so loyal and they really do look at us as family or friends that I think they appreciate someone who has longevity with them and is committed to serving them and the community. So in Cincinnati, I think it's a little bit less.
Go
pressure.
Cincinnati.
Go Cincinnati.
I mean, I love that. I
do too.
that.
I love that about living here. I love that about being here. I went to a senior expo. Bob and I had to host some panels last week at this senior expo, and all these people just, I've always watched you. I've watched you for years. I won't watch anyone else. You think they hear that in New York City
Yeah.
or Miami? I'm not
the
sure.
loyalty.
I'm
Well,
not
we
sure.
are definitely a community here. I mean, the more, it's funny, I don't know when I realized, my God, I'm a Cincinnatan, because of course I wasn't born and raised here, but I've been here
Same.
for so long now and love this city so much. And we are a community, and I think we all are grateful for it too, for
Yes.
sure. Well, so you felt like, you were worrying about more when you were in your early years. And so, how has aging on camera brought you more confidence or more skill or more something? What's the gift it brought?
I think that what it has given me is the knowledge that, well, Annie Leibovitz, I just read this quote from her not too long ago. The great thing about getting older is I know what I'm doing. And so I think I
true.
knew what I was doing when I was 33 and moved here, but now I feel comfortable with that. And I don't worry so much about, of course I worry about how I look. I'm on camera every single morning.
Right.
You
You're
know?
human.
Yeah, you have to. But I just think the confidence that goes with being around, and I love when younger people ask me, how did you do it? What decisions did you make? How can I do it? Give me advice. I love that. I love being able to help with that. And I feel good about the help and the coaching that I'm allowed to provide to people.
And you provide it with authority. And that can only happen with some time doing it.
Right.
Well, what advice would you have for a woman right now, not in media or broadcasting, but who's feeling a little bit unseen, a little bit uncertain, some of the things that can happen as professional women mature?
I think that the most important thing you can do is have a tribe of other women.
Agreed.
Because I mean, just you and I are friends. The lunchtime talks we have about real things that happen in our lives. I have very close friends who I can cry to if I'm having a bad day, or ask a question. Why is this person acting like this? You have to have a tribe of women with whom you can be real.
Yep.
I also think you have to give yourself grace, because we are so hard on ourselves. Like, we're caregivers for aging parents. We have grandchildren. We have my kid may be 32, but she still needs her mom.
Right. Mine too. Yeah.
We're pulled in all these directions. Plus we have the career, and I love all of it. But I think you just have to give yourself grace and sometimes say, you know what? I'm not going to do that today. Today, I'm going to go sit on my deck. Today I'm not going to run. Today I'm going to say no to something.
You said in one of our lunchtime chats, no is a complete sentence.
Jane Fonda, I heard that on an interview she did. It's fantastic,
It's
isn't it?
fantastic. It's stuck with me.
You don't have to explain yourself.
Exactly. You really don't. It's okay to say no. And conversely, yes means less. And remember that, the more things you say yes to, the less downtime you have, the less time doing the things that really matter to you.
Right.
Well, what I think is so magical about your story and your mindset is, you said when you were a little girl, you wanted to be on TV and be a mommy.
Yes.
And it's like, here you are, a
Isn't that
mommy
great?
and grandmommy on
It's the
TV.
best. It's the best. I couldn't
It's-
ask for more. I really couldn't. I couldn't ask for one single other thing in my life.
I love that.
Thank you.
There's very few people who can say, as a child, this is what I dreamed of, and boom, here I am. And so, speaking of family, I mean, raising a family while you're on camera, while you're so well known in the community, how did that go? Was that a challenge?
Sometimes my kids would get a little bit frustrated, like, we were going somewhere for them and we'd have to stop and talk to somebody. And I would just say, these people are why I have my job and why we can do these fun things like go to Kings Island, because they watch me,
Right.
So they learned from an early age that we always had to take time for other people. And, they learned sometimes that it's what you do when nobody's watching that are really the most important things. But they also got to get into some places that other kids didn't.
You bet. That's right.
Like
Some perks.
little backstage passes from, friends at Q102 or B105 or Kiss 107, things like that. So they definitely had a few perks that, people who weren't quote unquote known might not have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, sometimes when people aren't watching how you're behaving, what are some things in your career, or no, I'm going to change that, in your life that are unrelated to television or media that you're most proud of?
My children. I've raised good humans who care about other people and they're considerate. And my daughter's a nurse practitioner at Barrett Cancer Center. She's taking part in clinical trials and healing patients with cancer, and sometimes not healing them, unfortunately. But she's a wonderful caregiver, and she's a fantastic mother. And she has the most amazing husband. She chose really, really well. And my son is in college, and he is this giant guy, but he's so protective of me whenever we're out. He's always looking out for me.
Aww.
And he's just sweet. And he never leaves without telling me he loves me.
Oh.
And he's just a nice person. And no matter what they do job-wise, the fact that they're nice, caring, compassionate people, that's my greatest accomplishment, With help from Rick, of course. It wasn't all me.
Yeah. He came along for the ride for this one, right? Yes, your darling husband, Rick. Well, you know what I like is the surety in you. You knew you wanted to be a mommy. You knew you wanted to be on TV. Check. You did it. What's your greatest pride? Your kids. Check. No thinking, no waffling, And I think that's beautiful. Clarity is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is.
So you're busy. You've got your mom, you've got your kids, you got your grandkids, you got your career, you got your friends, you got all, your fitness routine, which is formidable.
Right.
Your sleep routine, which is also so impressive. But so what are some things you do that help keep you safe and sane and sound and fit? What are some rituals, some non-negotiables?
I must get my hair done every 3 weeks. I must get a massage once a month. I get a facial if I want it. I take weekends with girlfriends, and I have good friends, and I say no. Sometimes I literally just go and put my feet on grass and read a book.
Yeah.
So those are the big things for me. And working out is a huge stress reliever in addition to making me healthier.
Yeah. Well, you got great arms, let me just say. Woo-hoo! Now you make me want to go home and pump even more. I try.
I know you do.
I have a lot of, self-care rituals that are important to me too, which is why I like to ask people, because I'm always open for a few new ones, but well, I want you to leave us with this today. If you'll finish this sentence: the older I get, the more I realize
there is nothing but love. Nothing matters but love.
You are the second person today that almost made me just spontaneously start weeping. God, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's like the Beatles saying, right? The love you take is connected to the love you make. And that's not the exact quote, but it's a direct correlation, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you, Cincinnati loves you, and I love you.
Cincinnati, and I love you.
And you've got a whole legion of fans, and I am just so grateful you're part of the community and that I call you my friend.
Thank you. Me too.
Sheila Gray.
For 20-something years.
Way back when with Rob on Fox. I remember, oh my gosh, we had so much fun. So much fun. We are, absolutely. But it does go way back. So, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. It was a privilege.
Today. Thanks. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks to our sponsors too: Wow Window Boxes, High Street, and Jenny Simon Face. Please subscribe to Amy's Table and share this conversation with a friend. Follow along for more inspiration, gatherings, and everyday ideas from our community. Until next time, keep looking for the good, keep making room for connection, and remember, there's always a seat for you at Amy's Table.